Communicating with the mind and heart. Have you ever woken up on a quiet morning and wondered why you don't feel happy even though everything seems fine? You have everything others might wish for: a stable job, a loving family, valuable friendships, but deep inside, there's an emptiness, a nameless unease. There's something you may have overlooked. It's not what you see or the people you meet. It's deep within you, the voice inside your head. That voice is always there, whispering to you every second of the day. It never lets you rest. Even when you just wake up, it begins, "What will today be like? Will everything be as bad as yesterday?" It projects past failures, creates frightening scenarios of the future, and judges your every move. It doesn't stop. It pulls you away from the present, preventing you from enjoying the precious moments you deserve to live. And it's heartbreaking to realize that this voice is not a trustworthy companion. Instead, it becomes a burden, an obsession you can't escape. But here's the most important thing you need to know. That voice is not you. The cage of endless conversations. Have you ever felt trapped, not by your surroundings, but by your own mind? The voice in your head doesn't just whisper, it overwhelms like an unstoppable stream. It replays painful memories, revives failures, and constructs terrifying scenarios that never happened. Your mind feels like a sealed room with echoing sounds, each one coming from within yourself. But this cage isn't made of iron or steel. It is built from whispers, judgment, fear, criticism, and endless comparisons. Think of the times you sit silently, trying to find peace, but you can't. Your mind keeps churning, like water that never stays still. Close your eyes and imagine. You are sitting by a crystal-clear lake, still as a mirror. The lake reflects the vast sky, bringing a deep sense of peace. But then a small stone falls, breaking the stillness. Ripples spread out, distorting the lake and obscuring the sky. The voice in your head is that stone. It continuously stirs your mind, drowning you in waves of chaos. It makes you forget that beneath all the noise, you have a peaceful, vast essence like the sky. Eckhart Tolle calls this phenomenon the pain body, an emotional entity fueled by internalized pain. Every time you recall a mistake, imagine a dark scenario, or judge yourself, you feed that pain body. It gradually becomes part of you, a false self that thrives on unhappiness. But have you ever wondered, if you are truly that voice, then who is listening? This question illuminates a profound truth. Amidst the endless thoughts, there is a space, and in that space exists a presence, a true self beyond fear and judgment. That presence is neither loud nor chaotic. It is quiet, profound, and extraordinary. That is you, not the voice in your head, not the pain, but the observer, the one who listens to it all. Discovering the true self. Have you ever wondered why peaceful moments pass so quickly while worries seem to last forever? Your mind constantly feels an intense urge to fill the silence with the noise of thoughts. But if you listen carefully, you'll notice that amidst those words, there is a presence, a deep silence, waiting to be discovered. In the stillness, you encounter a part of yourself that isn't imprisoned by the past or dragged by the future. This is your true self, a version untouched by fear, unclouded by judgment. Try this. Close your eyes and feel your breath. As you inhale, notice the sensation of air passing through your nose. As you exhale, feel your body relax. In that moment, the voice in your head grows silent, and instead of disappearing, you feel clearer than ever. This is not an unfamiliar concept. In Hindu philosophy, this state is called Atman, the unchanging self, beyond all turbulence. It is a part of you, always present beneath the noise. In Christian teachings, it is likened to the still small voice of God, an unshakable presence. But why does the mind resist this stillness? Because it loves its own noise. The mind fears that without it, you won't exist. It whispers, "You need me to solve problems. You can't live without thinking." But the truth is, you don't need endless thoughts to live. Think of a river. The rushing water carries away everything: dry leaves, branches, and small stones. But if you dive to the riverbed, you'll find another world, quiet and steady. No matter how chaotic the surface is, the riverbed remains calm. Your mind is just like that river. On the surface, it's full of thoughts, memories, and worries. But deep below, there's an unshakable stillness, a place where you are truly yourself. Plato once said that humans are like cave dwellers, only seeing shadows on the wall and mistaking them for reality. Those shadows are the stories your mind creates, fears, judgments, and beliefs that are merely projections. Imagine you step out of the cave and see the light for the first time. At first, the light might overwhelm you, even frighten you. But gradually, you realize that the light doesn't come from somewhere far away. It is your true essence, always present, waiting for you to see beyond the noise. The moment you realize you are not the voice in your head, you begin a transformation. You realize that thoughts are just clouds passing across the sky, unable to dim the light within you. Ask yourself, who am I beyond this voice? Who am I when the mind becomes silent? The answer isn't found in words, but in feeling. It resides in the silence, in the space the mind cannot reach. The power of silence. Take a moment and listen. Not to the voice in your head, but to the silence behind it. Do you notice it? It's not an absence, but a powerful and profound presence. Silence is not a weakness. It is the greatest strength you possess. When you connect with this silence, you are no longer a victim of the repetitive thoughts in your head. You become the master. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, trees fall, and everything around you is in chaos. But at the eye of the storm, there is a place of complete stillness, an unshakable calm. Your mind is like that storm. Your thoughts are the wind, noisy, strong, sometimes frightening. But deep within, at the center of your mind, there exists a still space. Once you step into that space, the storm no longer controls you. But how do you find that silence? You can't force your mind to be silent, because the more you try, the more power you give it. The only way is to observe. When the voice in your head starts to whisper, "You're not good enough. You're going to fail." Step back and ask yourself, who is listening to this voice? Imagine you're holding a glass full of murky water. If you keep shaking it, the water will remain cloudy. But if you set the glass down and let it be, the sediment settles and the water becomes clear. Your mind works the same way. The more you try to control your thoughts, the more chaotic your mind becomes. But when you let go and allow things to flow, silence naturally emerges. Silence doesn't just change your mind. It changes how you experience the world. Problems that once stressed you now feel insignificant. Judgments that once hurt you no longer have power. Even uncertainty loses its fear because you realize that within, you always have a safe place to return to. A man once asked a wise sage, "How can I find peace in a world full of chaos?" The sage replied, "Peace is not about escaping the storm, but about learning to stand in it without being swept away." Silence is not about controlling the outside world. It's the ability to maintain inner peace, no matter the external circumstances. When you connect with this silence, a miracle happens. You no longer try to change everything to feel happy. You realize the world doesn't need to be perfect for you to feel at peace. Try this exercise. Find a quiet space and sit down. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. When thoughts arise, imagine them as leaves floating on a river. Don't try to hold on to them or push them away. Simply observe them drifting by. As you practice this, you'll realize that silence doesn't come from the outside. It has always been within you, waiting for you to stop and listen. Escaping the cage of the inner voice. Have you ever felt like you're running on a hamster wheel, never reaching the end, but unable to stop? The voice in your head is like that wheel. It spins endlessly, keeping you trapped in old stories, fears, and unrealistic expectations. But try stopping and stepping off. You'll realize a profound truth. That wheel never held you. You were the one who stayed on it. There's a Zen story about a man lost in a forest. He tried to find his way out, but the more he walked, the more confused and lost he felt. One day, he stopped, sat under a tree, and decided to stop trying to find his way out. In that moment, he heard the sound of flowing water. He realized the nearby stream would lead him out of the forest. Your mind is like that forest, complex, chaotic, and full of wrong turns. But when you stop and stay silent, the answers emerge. How do you escape the cage? Non-attached awareness. The first thing you need to do is not fight the voice, but become aware of it. Imagine you're watching a movie in a theater. The images on the screen might be emotional, but you are not the character in the movie. You are the one sitting in the audience, observing it all unfold. When you start observing your thoughts as images on a screen, you'll realize they don't control you. You are the observer, not the character in the story. Practice presence in the moment. Try this right now. Take a deep breath in, breathe out, and feel the air leaving your body. Look around and notice the small details, the colors, the sounds, the sensations on your skin. The moment you are fully present, the voice in your head loses its power. It cannot exist in the present because it feeds on worries about the past and the future. Learn to let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing your grip on what you can't control. Think of how you hold a handful of sand. If you squeeze too tightly, the sand slips away. But if you keep your hand open, the sand remains. Your mind works the same way. When you try to control everything, you only create more tension. But when you let go, you create space for peace. Ask yourself, if I am not the voice in my head, who am I? If I don't need to control everything, what would my life be like? These questions don't need immediate answers. They are invitations to explore deeper within yourself. An old monk once told his disciple, "Let everything in your mind pass like clouds in the sky. Don't try to hold on to them. Let them come and go. And when the clouds dissipate, you'll see how clear the sky truly is." The voice in your head is not you. You are not the clouds, but the vast sky that holds them all. The moment you realize this, you step out of the cage of the inner voice and into freedom. Rediscovering inner freedom. The moment you realize you are not the voice in your head, you'll feel an incredible relief. But this is not the destination. It's just the first step on a long journey to rediscover inner freedom. True freedom doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from not being controlled by anything. Imagine a bird raised in a cage since it was young. Every day, it sees the world through the bars, believing that is the entirety of reality. One day, the cage door opens, but instead of flying away, the bird hesitates. It has grown so accustomed to the cage that freedom feels foreign. Your mind is the same. It has become used to living in a cage of thoughts, judgments, and fears. But the moment you dare to step out, you'll find the world outside the cage is not only larger, but more beautiful than you ever imagined. How do you begin to fly? Accept all emotions instead of avoiding them. Inner freedom is not about never feeling sadness, anger, or fear. It is the ability to accept those emotions without letting them control you. Imagine your emotions as ocean waves. Waves may be high or low, gentle or fierce, but you are not the waves. You are the ocean. The waves are just a part of you, never defining your entirety. Try this. The next time you feel a strong emotion, don't avoid it or try to make it disappear. Sit with the emotion, feel it, and let it naturally pass, like a wave washing onto the shore. Connect with your true self through stillness. Your true self is always there, but it is often hidden by the noise of the mind. Make it a habit to spend time in silence each day, even if only for a few minutes. Try this practice. Sit quietly in a comfortable place. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. When thoughts arise, imagine them as leaves floating on a river. Don't cling to them. Simply let them drift away. The moment you realize you are not your thoughts, you'll feel true freedom. The freedom to simply be. Live with gratitude and presence. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to escape the cage of the mind. When you feel gratitude, the mind has no space for worry or judgment. Try this gratitude exercise. Each night before bed, write down 3 things you are grateful for that day. It could be a small moment, like the warmth of sunlight on your skin, a smile from a stranger, or a delicious meal. When you focus on the positives, the voice in your head weakens, making room for peace. Freedom is not about escaping life or abandoning responsibilities. Freedom is the ability to live amidst chaos while maintaining inner peace. Think of a mountain in the midst of a storm. Rain may fall, winds may blow, but the mountain stands firm, unshaken. Within you, there is also such a mountain, an unshakable stillness. You don't need to seek freedom outside. because it has always been within you. A monk was once asked, "How do you attain enlightenment?" He replied, "When hungry, eat; when tired, sleep." The questioner felt confused. "But everyone does that." The monk smiled. "No, most people, when eating, think of 1,000 other things. When sleeping, they worry about tomorrow." Transformation. Living fully in the present. When you step through the door of awareness, you not only free yourself from the voice in your head, but also begin to see the world with new eyes. Every moment becomes a miracle, every breath a gift. But transformation is not the final destination. It is a way of living, a continuous journey of discovery, where you find freedom in the small, everyday moments. Learn to live fully. A man once went to a master seeking enlightenment. He said, "I've learned from many people, read many books, but I still can't find peace." The master simply smiled and led him outside to the yard, where an ancient tree stood silently. He said, "Look at this tree. It does nothing, yet it exists fully. It is not hurried, it does not strive, yet it grows strong." The man asked, "How can I live like this tree?" The master replied, "By stopping your effort to become anything other than yourself." Live fully in each moment. We are often caught up in things that haven't happened or are long past, but the present is the only thing that truly exists. Think about the last time you truly felt a moment. No phone, no thoughts, just you and the world around you. Such moments not only bring joy, but are also gateways to profound peace. Try this. When you eat, pay attention to the taste, texture, and feel of the food. When you walk, feel your feet touch the ground. Hear the wind pass by your ears. When you converse, listen with your whole heart without thinking about your response. Make stillness a part of your life. Stillness doesn't need to occur only in meditation or prayer. It can exist in your daily actions. Drive in silence without music or the radio. Drink a cup of tea and savor each sip without rushing. Simply sit and watch the sky without trying to do anything. The moment you let stillness flow into your life, you'll see it is not just a pause. It is a source of strength, clarity, and connection to your true self. Offer your presence. When you live fully in the present, you bring peace not only to yourself, but also to those around you. Think of the last time you felt someone was truly present with you. They listened, understood, and weren't distracted. How did that moment make you feel? You can also be the person who offers that to others. Spend time fully with family and friends, without phones or worries. Listen without judgment when someone shares their feelings. Simply be there, with kindness and an open heart. Your presence is the greatest gift you can give. Your inner world is already complete. You don't need to change the world to feel happy. The secret is that when you change how you see the world, you change everything. Think of raindrops falling onto a lake. They create small ripples that spread out, reaching the edges of the water. Each action, each thought, each moment of stillness is like one of those raindrops. It ripples outward, touching those around you, gradually changing the world. There is an ancient question. If a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, does it make a sound? But the more important question is, if you live a quiet, fulfilled life, but no one notices, does it matter? The answer is yes, because that stillness is light, needing no audience to have worth. It has always existed, and it has always been beautiful. The moment you live with stillness and presence, you not only change your life, but also transform how you connect with the world. Living with transformation, a never-ending journey. Transformation is not a destination, but a journey, a call to live each day more deeply and more presently. But how do you sustain this transformation when life gets busy, when the voice in your head starts to overwhelm, and when everything seems to fall back into old patterns? The answer is very simple. You don't need to be perfect, just patient. Learn to be patient with yourself. A disciple once came to his master, full of worry. "Master, I've tried meditating every day, but my mind is still chaotic. I still feel fear, and the voice in my head still controls me. I will never find peace." The master smiled and pointed to a tree outside. "Do you see that tree? It grows every day, but you never see it growing. Its growth is not an event, but a process. Your transformation is like that tree. Every moment you choose to slow down, be present, and let go of the voice in your head, you are growing, even if you don't notice it. Remember, you'll make mistakes, and that's okay. Sometimes, the voice in your head will return, stronger than ever. It will whisper, "You can't do this. You've failed." But remember, transformation is not about never falling, but about always being ready to rise again. Every time you notice yourself caught in a spiral of thoughts, you've taken a big step on this journey. Treat yourself with compassion as you would comfort a child learning to walk. Nurture transformation. Every day, like a fire that needs tending, transformation also requires your care. Start your day with stillness. Just 5 minutes of sitting quietly and feeling your breath in the morning can create a strong foundation for your day. End your day with gratitude. Before bed, remind yourself of the small joys you experience today. Inspire others through the way you live. When you live with transformation, it naturally spreads to those around you. A genuine smile can brighten someone's day. Truly listening can heal a wounded heart. A small act of kindness can create unexpected ripples. Remember, you don't need to change the world. Just change how you show up in the world, and everything will change. Learn to live in the flow. Imagine your life as a river. The river may twist and turn, sometimes rushing, sometimes calm, but it always flows. You can't control every bend in the river, but you can choose how you swim in it. You can fight the current, feeling tired, stressed, and frustrated. Or you can let yourself flow with the current, trusting it will take you where you need to go. Transformation is not about controlling the river. It's about learning to float naturally. Once an old monk was asked, "Have you attained enlightenment?" The monk smiled, "I'm still learning to live with it every day." Transformation is not a destination you reach and forget. It's a never-ending journey where every step, every moment matters. The moment you realize this, you'll no longer be afraid or feel the need to rush. You'll see that you've always been on the right path, and every day, every moment, you're moving closer to true freedom. Live as light. Beyond the noise, transformation is not a sudden miracle, but a way of life, peaceful, free, and whole. When you stop talking to yourself, transformation happens. And when transformation happens, life becomes a mirror, reflecting the beauty, peace, and love that you've always had within you. You are the transformation. You are the stillness. You are the light cutting through the noise. Thank you for journeying to the end of this path. If you find these insights helpful, share them with those who need to hear them. Are you ready to live fully with your transformation?